What's up, stationaries? Last week we had E3 as well as the kickoff to the Summer Game Fest 2021, and both shows received a fair share of both excitement and disappointment from the gaming community as a whole. Tonight on Crossroads, we're going to sit down and discuss which studios and brands earned their gold stars as well as who is getting their Razzies. So, one more thing though, where the hell was Sony at? Get ready. Crossroads starts live right now. Hey there, this is Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast for Boss Rush Games. I am LeRon Dawkins, and co-piloting with me, as always, is our PlayStation doctor, Mr. Austin Campbell. What's up, good sir?
What is up, everybody?
Joining us tonight in third chair is the resident insider of all things indies and part of the Nintendo PAL Block Brigade, Dan Murphy. What's up, man?
I'm probably part-time now, considering Ed bans me probably every other week, so...
We're going to have to go into that after we finish the intros, because I'm curious, because, I mean, hey, Crossroads has a seat for you. Like, we're looking for a fourth.
I don't know if we can do live recruitment, because then it's hard to say no.
And joining us in fourth chair is Pat Klein, better known on the streets as one of the members of the EXPCast. Welcome, Pat. What's up?
Hey, I'm looking forward to becoming the next seat at the Nintendo PAL Block after Dan gets expelled.
How's everybody's week going? It's only Tuesday, but hey, some things could have got shaken up. Some things could have, just been rolling on smoothly. How's everybody's week going so far?
It's Tuesday. I wish it was not Tuesday. I wish it was further in the week, but it's not bad. It's not bad. We've actually had a bit of a cool front now, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I don't know where you are, Austin, but I'm from Wisconsin. I don't think it reached it's like low 70s right now. It's pretty nice, but it's also kind of chilly considering we were in like the 90s a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been 90 here for a while, but it got down to like 60 yesterday, and then now it's back in the high 80s, low 90s. But I'll take everything I can get.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot up here in the DC, Maryland area. LeRon's kind of close by, so it's the same thing. But yeah, it's been brutal for a couple weeks.
What have your highs been? Because like we've hit like the mid 90s a couple of times, but our humidity keeps us freaking oppressed down here. I swear.
It'll say it's 88 out, but the real feel is like 107 because of humidity.
Yeah. Oh God, there was one day. I kid you not. Like it said it was 76 degrees outside. And I usually do my workouts in my garage in the mornings. So here I am. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be nice out there. There's probably a little bit of a nice cool breeze going on. So I went in the garage, like got everything set up, opened the garage door. It looked like someone was just continuously spraying me down with a fire hose. Like that's how much sweat was. That's how much sweat was rolling off of me. Like the humidity just kept it sticky, and I was doing. I was doing groundwork, so like anywhere from push-ups to sit-ups to burpees and all that stuff. And man, like the mats looked horrendous. Like my roommate came in and looked at me at one point, and he's like, "You're gonna do something about that, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take care of it. Just leave me alone. Let me die in peace."
Yeah.
I'm
always
so
spray after
moody
your
when it's
equipment.
hot. It's like whenever there's heat, I don't want to be talked to. If I'm not in AC, it's best. You're not getting much from me. You're not getting any answers from me.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you know what? Air conditioning is man's one true triumph over human nature. It really is. I mean, Mother Nature. I'm sorry, Mother Nature. It truly is, because God, I don't know how our ancestors did it. Back in the days before, like, even a fan was an invention. I don't know how they did it. And I'm talking about those fans where you hold in your hand and you just blow yourself.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny
that's when they got
doing
their
PAL
papers.
Block last night because David Lasby, lives in Washington State. Mm-hmm. And he just like, he sat down looking like a wet dog. And we were like, what happened to you? And he's like, we don't have air conditioning up here. It never gets hot. Like, no houses in Washington State have air conditioning. It's like 95 degrees.
What type of craziness? No.
Yeah, so we spent the whole thing laughing at him.
Wait, what part of Washington State does he live in?
I think he lives on the west side of the mountains near Seattle.
He must not live in the progressive side of Washington State. Jeez.
Well, no, I mean, like, why would they have air conditioning there? It's like such an expensive cost if it's like never hot. It's basically like England.
Pat, do you have air conditioning? You live in Wisconsin. Do you have air conditioning?
Yes, because it gets
Wisconsin
hot.
Wisconsin gets hot as hell in the summer.
Yeah, like he lives in one of the Great Lakes states. Of course he has air conditioning. It gets humid up there.
Yeah, we either get really cold temperatures in the wintertime or really hot temperatures in the summertime.
Yeah. All right, so
let's just
Dan,
blow up the sun.
So no, then it's always cold, and we need sunlight to live.
I'm okay with that. We need freeze to death before.
What about vitamin D deficiency? Because
I got pills for that.
They got lamps.
Yeah.
Because I will
bench warmers.
I will say this as much as because I'll say this as much as I hate the heat. Like, there's one thing I like is feeling the sun on my skin. So like when I'm outside like running or doing my like 2-3 mile walks and stuff like that, the sun feels good on my skin. And it's just one of those things where it's like, like there's healing properties and all that stuff. Like, how you gonna relegate me to taking pills for vitamin D? Come on now.
I don't know. I feel the sun's very oppressive. Like, if I stand out there for 15 minutes, I'm sunburned. Sun doesn't like me.
I don't. It takes me like a few good hours before I start getting the effects of a sunburn. And the funny part is, like, my mom is always on me, like, if you're out in the sun, put on sunscreen. I'm like, you just now started talking about this. This was never a thing when I was a kid, Mom. Why is it now? And then you get worried when like you see like one strange mole on your skin now. This is where I'm at now in life. You're like, oh, I didn't have that there last week. What is this? All right, Dan, spill it. What's going on with Foul Block? Well, what's the skinny Austin? Let's get ready to poach this guy.
I'm not giving you any inside news. What are you talking about?
Okay, you know what? I have my ways of getting information out of Ed. I'll figure it out.
Oh, that's easy. All you have to do is dangle Twizzlers over his head.
or
you can save money and just buy a box of dots, and that'll get them.
My God!
Do the world a favor and make one less box of dots in the world.
Did I tell you that he was like convincing me that they're really good? I had never had dots before. And I went and bought them, and they were obviously terrible. So I went back and reported it to him that it was bad. He's like, no, you can't have the box that's up front. You got to like find the one all the way in the back because that's the freshest one. And I'm like, well, how long does it take to make these things stale? Like, isn't that kind of an indictment on the candy itself if like the stale ones are in front?
Like, yeah, I know. It's
such real fruit flavor. It's real fruit in there. That's why it goes out so quickly.
Yeah. So just to shorten the story, I did go to another store and reach all the way in the back and got a box of dots. Let me tell you, tasted like the box in the front. It was bad.
I was about to say, did he Steven Crowder you and change your mind?
Absolutely not. If anything, I was
gonna say next time he's gonna tell you have to get it at the movie theater. You have to get the movie theater box of the dots.
You gotta grab 5 packets and look for which one has the closest expiration date.
I mean, you guys are Werther's fans, so that's not much better.
Wait, who's a Werther's fan? No one. Nobody on this show.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Werther's caramels. Yes, the caramel candies. Let me tell you this. Dan, I try to be your friend, man. But if you're putting Werther's in the same conversation as Dots. I just don't think I can touch your food palate. It's not even the same. I can understand not liking.
I'm even gonna throw in candy corn into that mix.
Oh, candy corn can also be there, but you can't tell me that the caramel Werther's original, okay?
Yeah, Werther's original is the worst one.
Wow.
Man, I might shed a single tear, and I haven't shed a single tear in forever.
I mean, it's right there with candy corn and Dots and black licorice.
No, black licorice is even worse than everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Black
Agreed.
licorice is garbage. And what's that one? Wait, what's that one candy? What's that one candy? Is that's black licorice with a candy shell on the outside, so it's deceptive if you've never had it before.
Oh, the Good and Plenty.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, Good and Plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Like what? Like what were? Okay. First of all, who was pissed off at their boss that they came up with that candy?
Oh, that was like it was someone like Austin working at a candy factory, being like, "This is gonna be hilarious."
Oh yeah.
And then
honestly, like that box looks so appetizing. You're like, man, that probably is a good candy. You open that thing is nasty.
Yeah,
dude.
it looks like bubble gum and cotton candy, and that it's black licorice. You got to be kidding me.
And my question is, whose boss thought it was a good idea to just mass produce it and sell it? And, and how are they making money?
I mean,
I don't know.
They've been selling those things for years. It's probably they mass produced them and they never expire like Twinkies.
Yeah.
So they're still just trying to get them off the face of the planet.
I swear to you, like I just turned 46 years old this month, and I swear they've been around as long as I've been walking this earth.
Well, think about it. Like they've never changed the logo. They've never changed the box art. Like nothing has changed about that in 50 years. Like they all must have been mass produced at the same time in 1940, and we still can't get rid of them.
I need to do a marketing deal with like Fallout, and the next Fallout game you can find.
Oh my god! I just looked up Good and Plenty's. This candy was introduced in 1893.
Sounds
it's probably before taste buds.
Back when famines were like a real way of life. That was probably the perfect time to introduce that stuff because everybody is starving. They will eat anything at that point.
They had it stuffed in a corn silo for 6 years so they can deal with the 7th year of famine. That's all they ate. Was just that.
I feel like it was used to keep kids from being addicted to candy. It's like, oh hey, you want some candy? Here's some Good and Plenty. Try this. I don't want candy anymore. Please give me my vegetables.
I had a set of great grandparents that I never went to their house, but when we did go to their house, the 2 times we did, all the candy they had was black licorice. I was like, Mom and Dad, I don't want to go to this grandparents' house. These grandparents suck.
And they smell like licorice.
Like licorice. They got no good candy. They don't have cable TV. What's up with this?
At least my grandparents had cable. That was worth it. We didn't have cable back then.
All right. Let's get this started. This is Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast of Boss Rush Games. Every week we come together bringing you the latest in news, rumors, games, and general discussion in the world of PlayStation. Crossroads is live on twitch.tv/Exodus803, Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are unable to join us during the live event, Crossroads can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast apps. And if you like the show, then please consider subscribing. You can also see the show on youtube.com/BossRushGames and our website, BossRushGames.com, every Thursday. And if you're watching right now, or if you are listening out there and you missed the live show, head over to my YouTube channel, Exodus803, on Wednesday nights. The recap goes there first. But while you're at BossRushGames.com, don't forget to check out our growing family of podcast shows, such as EXPCast. And remember to share, rate, and review us wherever you check out our show. And also, this is a good time to take a moment to give us a follow at PS_Crossroads on Twitter. All right. So
you never know when we might do another giveaway.
Right? Ooh. Right? There's one coming. Oh, by the way, Austin, I think we should do strictly just first party releases only. That way we don't go broke. That way we don't go broke giving away all these games.
100% agree with
so you guys are so everybody's on their own for Deathloop.
Yeah.
We're not. That's not a giveaway.
Now we might do Kenna though.
Yeah.
Kenna, I feel gets a pass.
Yeah.
Because we're highly involved for that game. We're good for that game.
And I don't want to sound like a hater, but people might be on their own from Gran Turismo 7 also.
It's gotta look like for Forza Horizon.
For real, yes.
Forza Horizon is like wow. Gran Turismo's got their work cut out for them.
Well, since we're talking about games, what have we been playing this week? I actually have like a small list of games I've been playing. Most of them are Monster Hunter related, but I have a small list. All right, so Pat, like you're first because like the rest of us are just regular Boss Rush family, and you're one of the new guys. Well, wait, how long was the EXPcast? Like you're with the second class. The second class has been around for what, like almost over 4 months now.
Well, EXPcast has actually been around for about 4.5 years now. Mm-hmm. We're in our 5th season.
Oh, when I said second class, I meant second class for Boss Rush. I didn't mean to date you guys like a bunch of babies.
Nah, we
didn't call you
like
the coach
to feel young and immature. So you know what? That's okay. But yeah, we've been around I think since March.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 3 to 4 months.
All right.
But yeah, I've ever since E3 and a whole bunch of demos came out, I played just about every demo I can find, from Strangers of Paradise to Tunic, and there's a lot of good stuff coming its way over here.
What do you think about Tunic?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that question too.
You know what? At first, I wasn't a fan of the art style, but then when I actually started playing the game, that game is fun. Like it definitely feels very Zelda-ish. But it also has that I don't know if you ever played Fez, where the language just does not make sense at all.
Yeah.
You will read billboards and the billboards would just be gibberish. And so, you gotta kind of like interpret it your own way, what they're trying to tell you. Like maybe they're telling you like, oh, there's an item this way, but you don't quite know the language yet. But it's a fun game. Like it's cute. The design just absolutely works. It's slightly hard, but you can kind of exploit like how the bad guys move. So the only issue I had with it, there was no like save feature, and I accidentally quit when I was like 2 hours into the demo. And yeah, I was like right at the boss door. I paused to do something, went back to play it, and my cursor somehow made it to the quick game. And I accidentally quit the game.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, maybe it's a demo, and surely there'll be a save feature added later. But I also played Returnal, and I'm still waiting on a save feature. So.
Yeah, keep waiting for that one.
Don't worry. We'll announce it on Crossroads when that gets patched in.
Yeah, we'll see. Other than that, I did get the new Ratchet and Clank game, and that game's fun as heck. Like it's everything that you expect from a Ratchet and Clank game and more. Like the story is phenomenal. The characters that you meet, especially Rivet and Kit, kind of the Ratchet and Clank counterparts in the dimension. Like, it's great to learn like the backgrounds of these new characters, and some of the conversations that they have are they're almost heartbreaking. Because again, they're dealing with like loneliness and like depression, but it's it's amazing. It's like you could just put your controller down and watch it like a Pixar movie.
Oh, but you know what? I'm glad you said that, because like there's a whole bunch of trolls out there. It's like, why is this game gonna be so dark? Like man, people are railing against everything on the internet right now when it has something to do with social issues these days.
No, I think they do that because you relate to the character. Not everything in my life is like sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm actually very surprised that you got these cartoon characters that deal with some like real life situations.
You see, that's the thing. That's what kind of stuff like that is the reason why I tell myself all the time that I outgrew like Nintendo and their brand, because yeah, I mean, not saying Nintendo games don't have that. Games that pre on Nintendo consoles don't have that, but like most of the time, I always consider Nintendo games to be like whimsical, something to really pull you out of your element and stuff like that, which is all great and fun. But I've always had a way of being seeing games as being relatable if these characters actually have like some problems that I can empathize with or feel for them about and things like that. So that's usually what it is. I mean Mario stomping on like 20 million Goombas and stuff like that. That gets a little stale after a while. And no, Dan, I'm not saying that just to pick on Nintendo stuff. I'm not trying to get a rise out of you or anything like that. I'm just saying like when I got older, my taste and feel for games like grew up as well and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. And yeah, Ratchet and Clank is a perfect example of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's also, if you're a trophy seeker, you can platinum the game in like probably about 10 to 12 hours. It's not that long.
I like it.
Oh, wow, that's surprising. Yeah.
That's a little disappointing.
What were you expecting Clank's counterpart?
I would want Clunk or Chunk. I was hoping for Clunk or Chunk.
That's a little too on the nose. That's a little too on the nose.
I mean, I guess Kid's cool, but
yeah,
it's kind of hoping for Clunk or Chunk.
Yeah, Kid fits.
Yeah. Anything else, Pat?
No. I just actually started the Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance. That's pretty generic.
Is that out?
Yeah, it's
okay.
At least on Game Pass.
Okay.
Are you playing on Series X or S, or do you have the?
I have a Series X.
Okay. Because I was gonna ask if it ran well on Xbox One, because that's what I'm playing on now, and I have it pre-downloaded, but I don't know how well it's gonna work on there.
I can't imagine it would be horrible. The graphics, while they look good, they don't also look like next gen either. So,
as long as it runs well, that's all I really care about. I've never been a graphics person, but
it has bugs.
It does have bugs. Okay.
It's not the most polished game. It's actually very average in terms of its gameplay and like its technology. Like it could have used probably a couple more months, but it looks beautiful. Like if you're a fan of like Dungeons and Dragons and the lore and the world, I'd definitely say check it out, especially if you have an Xbox and Game Pass.
Yeah. Do you know is it co-op? I
Yes.
think it is co-op, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's not couch co-op, but it is co-op. You can either create a lobby with friends or go online.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely plan on playing it.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll probably snag it on Game Pass as well. All right, Dan, you're up.
Let's see. As far as PlayStation goes, I haven't gone too far into it, but I just started Biomutant.
Okay. How is it?
So far, it's so good. I mean, I'm like 2 hours in, so just like any other kind of action RPG, it's a slow start. So I'll get back to you once I get a little more into it. And then on Switch, I've been playing Game Builder Garage, where it's basically like light programming. I like to mess around with Unity and try to build games and do some code on that, but this is like a nice break when you don't want to do all the script but you still want to kind of like work with the programming aspect of game building. So it's actually really, really cool to work on Game Builder Garage. It's a lot more in depth than I thought it would be, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And then on Steam, I'm playing Chicory: A Colorful Tale. This was shown at the Summer Games Fest, and it's this like top-down 2D game, and it almost plays like a 2D Zelda, except you're a dog with a paintbrush. And
oh yeah, like, I saw that on there. I remember
yeah, so like you have to solve puzzles by being able to paint things and move them around, and kind of get through little dungeons and stuff. And I'm actually enjoying it way more than I thought I would. And that's about it for me.
Okay.
Nice. I really like games that have that theme of color to them.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's like when you walk into a new dungeon or a new room, everything's black and white, like it looks like an empty page on a coloring book. And then your goal is to kind of just paint the right things and move the right things and make certain items and objects come to life.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I just saw it was on the PS Store, so I'm going to have to add that to my list.
All right. Well, Austin, you're up.
I played a lot of Outriders because I platinumed it this weekend.
Congrats.
That's gonna make Corey happy if he's still in the chat, in the Twitch chat.
Yeah. I messaged him as soon as I did. I was like, hey, I did it. And now I'm not going to play that game again unless it's DLC. Unless it's DLC or someone wants to, like, if friends want to play, and I'll hop on. But yeah, it's a great game. The story actually grabbed me more than I thought it would. I like it more than Destiny or Anthem, honestly. Like, it hooked me. It has that Gears of War feel to it, which I've always liked as well. The story was pretty riveting. There's some things I was like, oh wow, didn't see that happen, didn't see that coming. But I think it was a little too long, especially because I feel like since there's 4 classes, I always like to go back through. I like a short story so I could go play through the other classes of the story. But the story was so long that I'm like, I'm gonna just stick with the class I did and be done. So, but I did that, and then I was telling Dan earlier I was playing Mario Odyssey on the Switch, and I'm playing 3 games on my Xbox right now because I'm gonna buy Ratchet and Clank soon, hopefully. But until then, I've been playing games on Game Pass. So I'm playing Halo 2, and I'm playing, because I've never played the Halo games. So I'm playing Halo 2. I'm playing Rain on Your Parade, which I really, really like.
Nice.
And then what was that other game? Something Into the Wild, something like that. But it's another indie game from Xbox Game Pass, and so I plan on finishing those games. I'm gonna be a grown adult and not get my trophies and just play those games on there, you know. Because I even messaged the devs. I was like, hey, is it gonna come to PlayStation at any point so I can get trophies on it? I will buy the game. You know, I can play it on Game Pass already, but I will buy the game. They didn't message me back, so I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah.
I don't know what all that's
about. I got a question for you guys. Oh wait, did you have any more? Did you have any more games, Austin?
No, that's it.
Okay, I got a question for you guys before I start naming my games. Like I said, I have a small list that I was able to crank out since Saturday night. So are you guys, when you guys are just really in a hurry to get through the game, are you guys an easy mode player, or do you actually play on like default settings?
I try to do my best on default settings unless something's just ridiculous, like bad guys are meat shields, in which case I will switch over to an easier mode.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I also play games like Dark Souls, so you know, if I feel the game was meant to like have a combat, like be a combat focus, I will try to play it on its intended difficulty.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I'm a total masochist and just play everything on normal.
The hardest setting. Well, the hardest setting you can on first playthrough.
Yeah, usually. If I'm pretty familiar with the game or something, like I've played multiple Fire Emblem games, so like every one that comes out, I'm used to the battle system, and I put it on the hardest mode when I first play it, just because strategy RPGs, like I kind of get them. But if I'm like trying to get used to something, I'll start on medium and then work my way up once I understand like the combat or battle system or menus or whatever and leveling up.
Austin, what about you?
Yeah, I usually look and see if I can change the difficulty before I start a game. And so I will usually start on hard and play it as much as I can through there. But once I stop having fun and get really frustrated, I usually drop it down to normal. And I try not to drop it to easy at any point. But if it doesn't let you change the difficulty in the middle of the game, then I usually just play on normal, because I'm more about just playing through the game and the story and like stuff like that. So I do like the challenge, but once I stop having fun and I just want to see what happens at the end of the story, then I just switch to normal so I can get through it.
All right. As far as I go, like I typically play on the default setting, so like whatever the original setting is, that's usually what I played on. Unless it's one of those games where I know I was like, I'm not trophy hunting, I'm not doing all that, then I just jump it down like to the easiest mode possible, just so I can get through it as quickly as possible. All right.
I will say, Outriders, I dropped it too easy for like the last 5 hours that I was playing, because I was just farming kills. And so I'm just like, because I had one ability that I had to get a certain amount of kills with, and I was like, I took all my abilities off and just used that ability over and over again. I would run around, use that ability, run around, use that ability until I can get all the kills with it. So that was the only time I dropped that one easy.
All right, so for me, I've actually been a little all over the place with games. I finally got started with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which, by the way, thank you, Austin. That was one of the best birthday presents I'd gotten this year. Thank you for that. Everything Pat said about it, like it's fun, it's interesting. Like the story for the backstory for the new characters, like it gets you, it pulls you in and stuff like that. And it is when people are saying that this is a game that shows you what the power of the PlayStation is the PS5 is all about, like, believe them, because I mean, this is an impressive game. It plays like a freaking dream. I'll put it like that. Like, I haven't really run into any snags or any problems with it, and I'm having a ton of fun with it. Over on the PC, I snagged Yakuza Like a Dragon for Game Pass, and my God, like, what took me so long to start playing this game? I know what it was. I was waiting for the PS5 version. That's what it was. But yeah, I love the gameplay mechanic in this, where it's pretty much like turn based, basically. Mm-hmm. So it feels like an action. So it feels like an action like RPG, mainly. And funny story. It looks like the future of the Yakuza games are going to go that route.
That's what I hear.
Yeah,
which makes sense if they keep the protagonist Ichiban.
Yes,
because that's how he views battles. I mean, I thought that was a brilliant mechanic that they had added to it.
Oh yeah, so it's really cool. And, even for being a turn-based game, it's really stylish, and I like stylish games get me. That's definitely one thing. Like Japanese studios developers, they get, like, when they want to put a stylish game out, man, it's beautiful. On the Monster Hunter front, like, of course, I am playing Monster Hunter Rise still on Switch. New DLC just dropped, and everything's getting ready for the upcoming Monster Hunter Stories 2 that comes out in a couple more weeks. And speaking of Monster Hunter Stories, I reloaded that on my 3DS, so
nice.
I could play it again, just to kind of remind myself of there were some things about the story that I forgot. So like playing through it, it's just bringing back all the nostalgia and all the feels and everything, and also that's gonna hold me over because the demo comes out on the 25th for Monster Hunter Stories 2, and that way when you play through all that, when you get to the end of it, your save data carries over to the main game. And then last but not least, I turned back on Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I hate myself for putting it down for so long because I started playing Horizon. I completely forgot what I was doing, so I was like, damn it, I'm gonna have to start over.
Oh no.
Yeah,
but you were only on like chapter 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, chapter 2.
Oh.
Yeah,
because I remember I kept asking you for like a month straight. I was like, so what chapter you on now? You're like, still 2.
Yeah,
but I just gave up. I was like, he's never gonna play this again.
Yeah, but what got me to turn it back on was, of course, the integrated version came out, which is the PS5 upgrade, and I spent the $20 and got the Yuffie DLC as well. So yeah, like I'm kind of back in it.
It looks so good. I'm watching people's like screenshots and video captures of it on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. I need to get a PS5.
It's beautiful. It's like the normal game, the DLC. It's gorgeous. That game was meant to be on the 5.
It does. I remember as a kid thinking, like, man, Midgar looks so cool. Like, it just as a kid playing the PS1 game, like, it was like, man, this would be so cool if it was in real life. And now I look at it, all the pictures of it on PS5, like, whoa, that's like real life. It's insane.
Yep. Yeah, but that's everything I've been playing this week. Like sound off in the chat, or sound off over on our Twitter page, or sound off over on Discord. Let us know what you guys have been playing this week. We'd love to hear from you, and we probably get some suggestions for what we should be playing next. So go ahead and hit us up. Let us know what's up. And right now we're heading into our favorite topic of the night, food. So it's time for What's on Your PlayStation, and I titled this one, Put the Noodles on the Record. Now, before you guys call me out and be like, wait, we just did a pasta episode not too long ago, this is not about pasta. This is about noodles. So, just because pastas are noodles doesn't mean they're the end-all be-all of noodles. So, that being said, this isn't going to be your ordinary pasta conversation. Whether we're talking about soups, casseroles, or even the unconventional stuff, we're going to talk about our love of noodles on this edition of PlayStation. So, we've got 3 rounds here. First round is, what's our favorite noodle dish? Second round, is there any such thing as too much carbs when it comes to noodle food? And number 3, who makes the best version of your favorite dish? Is this a restaurant? Is this your mom? Is this your grandmother? Is it your girlfriend or your wife? We want to hear who makes the best version of your favorite dish. All right. You know what, Austin? You're the resident foodie here on PlayStation, so we're gonna let you start this one off. Your favorite noodle dish, brah.
I don't know what my favorite noodle dish is. But I'm telling you, I miss ramen so much. I miss ramen. I just love cheap ramen. I just like the ramen packs you buy. The ramens you buy at the Walmart, man. I
love for
ramen.
like 35 cents a pack.
Yes,
I lived off those in college. I love them.
I did too, and honestly, like, I never got sick of them. I was like, how can anyone hate this stuff? Like, it's just good. It's easy. You have to put like no effort into anything. It's great. But man, I don't know. My mom used to make a really good like baked ziti. That was another thing with like pepperoni and the sausage and the beef and all that mixed in there, and that was good stuff. But I don't know, man. It's too much. There's too much good stuff in there.
All right. So what is that? Is that your favorite noodle dish, or was it also who makes the best version of your favorite dish?
I mean, mom always makes the best, right? Like, I think I mentioned it last time we talked about pasta, but Katie makes this cheesy sausage pasta that's really, really good. And then she made
which I need the recipe for.
Yeah, it's really good. And then she made a southwestern. What was it called, Katie? Southwestern chicken? Was it Southwestern chicken? Oh, Cajun chicken pasta. And that stuff was good. That stuff was good too. I accidentally threw it out, and I was just kind of upset. We were fixing to go on vacation. It was like the day before, and I just cleaned out the fridge. I was just getting rid of everything. And she's like, "Oh, we can have that Cajun chicken pasta tonight." I was like, if it was in the fridge, it's not there anymore. I can tell you that. Everything's gone."
All right, Dan. Your favorite noodle dish, man?
So I'm just gonna do a quick third place and give it to the crappy ramen that Austin just talked about. Second place is gonna go to delicious ramen at a ramen restaurant where it actually has like pork in it and like other things, and it's takes effort to make. Number one.
Oh yeah, I mean those are good too, but
But hey, I mean, they're 2 and 3 on my list. So, number 1, I'm gonna go and give it to Japanese pan noodles.
Ooh,
those are like those thicker noodles that you get at like homegrown Japanese restaurants.
yeah.
They're like, it's not like other carbs that I like. Most pastas I eat where I could just like eat a ton of it and not feel full. This like actually feels like it has sustenance to it, and it's kind of sweet too, so it's delicious and goes well with pretty much any spicy sauce, because then you get that kind of sweet and spicy contrast.
Oh yeah, for real.
Yeah. So what was question 2?
Was there such thing as too many carbs?
Yeah, on this one, yeah, you can get really full. And then I think the best place that has it is there's this in DC. There was this like little mom and pop Japanese restaurant right around the corner from us, and they unfortunately went out of business through COVID. So I have to go find another place that makes them well. But they were the best, and I actually think they're opening up a restaurant down in Richmond. So next time I'm there, we'll go LeRon.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. By the way, man, that Thai restaurant we went to, oh my god, like I can't stop thinking about that place.
That place was awesome.
Yeah.
We ordered a ton of food, and like we were trying to flex our spicy on each other, so like we ordered like the second highest spice, and the two of us are just like sweating bullets and like asking for extra napkins to pat our heads.
Yeah. The funny part, like all these Asian restaurants, right? They've got kids. They're not so much working there, but they're helping out the family and stuff there. Like it was funny because every time we looked around, a different kid was bringing us like a glass of ice water.
That's right. It's like the 8-year-old kid just kept running waters over to us, and we're sucking it down.
All right, Pat, you're up. What's your favorite noodle dish, man?
You know what? I'm a simple guy, and I like spaghetti and meat sauce with meatballs.
All right. Nothing wrong with it.
It's what I grew up with, like at home. Like it was my favorite dish. Every birthday meal, I would ask my mom to make it. She's like, "Oh, let's go out," and I'm like, "No, spaghetti, meatballs. Come on." You know the drill.
You make your own sauce and everything.
Nah, it's just out of a jar.
Oh, yeah.
just some
simple.
Just some ragu.
Simple's the best.
But like, I would say though, like, there's this place that I recently discovered in Milwaukee. It's called Glorioso's Kitchen, or Glorioso's like Grocers. I forget what it's really called. But Glorioso's is the name, and it is an Italian like grocery store, but they have this deli that serves hot food, and they have an absolutely kick-ass spaghetti and meatballs. Like every time I eat this, it just brings a tear to my eye. Like it's like the best thing I've ever had, and it puts my mouth at peace. Like I could seriously just die afterwards. It's just amazing. Never found anything like it.
All right. What was your answer to it? Is there such thing as too many carbs when it comes to noodle foods? Like you said, spaghetti and meatballs, and
yeah.
So are you spaghetti with meat sauce and meatballs? So are you one of those people that can actually like kill like 3 or 4 plates of it? I've seen this in progress.
I can. I feel bad afterwards, but it feels so good when it's happening.
All right,
there's never too many carbs. Never.
No.
going
Not
yet.
Once
I say that, and then it's like if I lay down in the bed, I'm going to die.
It's like, where are my antacids? This is gonna hurt later.
Yeah.
All right. So, for me, my favorite noodle dish, and yes, this is a noodle. I don't care what you guys say. Fried wontons.
I prefer wonton steamed.
hey, it's a noodle, like I get it, like it feels more noodly when it's like steamed or in the soup, but see, I have a unhealthy love affair with Asian finger food. So whether it's wontons, it's your traditional pot stickers. I think it's called gyoza. Whether it's that,
Yep.
of course, egg rolls,
Gyoza.
all that, it doesn't matter. Like, if I can eat it with my fingers, like it's I'm having a field day with it and stuff like that. So when it comes to that particular thing, like fried wontons is like got if we're going specifically as an actual noodle, being wonton soup, like I know for sure, like when I'm like at like Asian style buffets and stuff like that, I usually get about 3 or 4 bowls of wonton soup with the food I'm eating and all that stuff. So there's that. Yes, I am totally in agreement. There's no such thing as too many carbs. You just hate yourself the next day, and the scale calls you fat. Now, who makes the best version of the favorite dish? Well, I mean, the favorite noodle dish is I said was the wontons, but I'm gonna call an audible on this one. There's a friend of mine, his brother-in-law makes this banging ass freaking mac and cheese. I mean, it's freaking. I mean, it's like, dude, like, what did you do to this mac and cheese? I mean, I'm a good cook, and like my mac and cheese is not like yours. What the hell are you doing, man? And how come you haven't shared the recipe yet? And it's a baked mac and cheese, so it's not one of those like stovetops.
Oh yeah, it's crazy with mac and cheese that there's like so many good mac and cheeses. Like a lot of people can make good mac and cheese, but then you have like that upper echelon of mac and cheese, and you're like, what is this? What Greek god did you get this cheese from? Like where?
Yeah, for real. Like, I mean, mac and cheese is another food that you wind up hurting yourself on. If you're a pasta and cheese type of person, there are some people out there who aren't.
Don't
Yeah.
associate with those people.
We call those not nice words.
Here's something, right? Like I went to an Italian restaurant, like I was taken to an Italian restaurant for my birthday, and our server, like they come around with the Parmesan grater and stuff like that. I warned her ahead of schedule, like, because when she came around with the salad order, like they were doing the grated Parmesan on the salad. I warned her then. I was like, I'm a cheese person, so she's like, okay, and so she tested it right with the salad, and I was like, okay, keep going. Okay, that looks good right there. So when she came back with the actual dish, she's like, she did the whole say no more thing. Like, she just went ahead and started doing it, and then she's like, is this it? I was like, yeah, that's it. Pasta and cheese. Oh my god! Like it's that's a deadly. That's a deadly come. Oh yeah. She was well taken care of.
Let's just say every crank of that handle you do is another dollar towards your tip. So crank it as much as you want.
Well, there you have it. Put the noodles on the record. This edition of PlayStation, we were talking about noodles tonight. So, if you guys should sound off. Hit us up on the Twitch chat right now if you're listening live. If you're checking us out live, hit us up on PS_Crossroads at Twitter, or hit us up on the Crossroads section of the Discord, and let us know, like, what's your favorite noodle dish? Is there such thing as too many carbs? And who makes the best version of your favorite noodle dish? All right, guys. I think we're about ready. It's time for the news and events for the night. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All
right. So first topic tonight comes to us care of our very own Dan Murphy from BossRushGames.com.
Woo!
Hades is coming to PlayStation and Game Pass. I'm like, what took them so long? What took them so long?
I have no idea. This game should have been everywhere a year ago.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like, all right. So, indie sensation Hades will officially be coming to Xbox Game Pass and Sony's PlayStation 4 and 5 on August the 11th, 2021. Hades had originally released on the Switch in September of 2020 with a release on Steam back in December of 2020. Wait, I thought it was on Steam first and then Switch.
Nope,
No?
it released on Switch first and then came out on Steam.
Oh wait! It came out of the alpha, out of early
alpha
access.
was on Steam. Yeah, early access it was on Steam.
Yeah, it was on early access first.
I think the full version it came to Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. This roguelike lets you take control of Zagreus, the son of Hades, who is trying to escape his father's realm in the underworld. Zagreus is aided by his mother Nyx, who gives him a special mirror that empowers him to use various abilities to power through a number of different rooms to arrive at the surface of Greece. I know a lot of you guys already know what's up with Hades and stuff like that, but just bear with us. I'm trying to give some love to the article. Since its release, Hades has won awards from the Golden Joystick Awards, the Game Awards, the 17th British Academy Awards, Gaming Awards, DICE Awards, and Nebula Awards. This roguelike is a can't miss with its brilliant gameplay, wonderful storytelling, and unique, incredible art style. And for you thirsty guys out there, the voice acting will make you feel all sorts of things. So, will you be playing Hades when it releases on PlayStation and Xbox? Well, what do you say, guys? August 11th. Austin, Austin, did you already have this on your Switch?
Yes, and I'm going to double dip. Let's just.
Yeah, I have it. I have it on.
I'm gonna get it on. I'm gonna get it on PlayStation. I'm gonna get the trophies. Now, here's speculation. Coming to Game Pass, do you think it will be on PS Plus for the month of August? Do you think it's a possibility?
I feel like at this point. I feel like at this point, the game is being given away too much for free. I feel like somebody's gonna have to pay some coins somewhere on this. I already have this on the Switch, but if you tell me that there's cross save like there is for the Switch and the PC, like I will most definitely buy it one more time for the PlayStation.
Well, I personally do not like roguelikes. But I hear this game's absolutely amazing, and I'm willing to give it a shot on the Game Pass.
Yeah, I highly suggest it. I think, and I love roguelikes. They're one of my favorite types of games. But this one blows as far as like getting a story out of every time you die. You're getting more and more of a story. The characters, like everything, is more interesting in this game than any roguelike. I think I've played some that have like better gameplay that I liked better, but this one in particular is like, as far as like getting you to want to keep playing over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's not frustrating at all when you die. It's like, all right, I get to go back. So what they do is like when you die, you go back to your kind of hub world, and there's constantly new stuff you're gonna discover and unlock and stuff, and that gets you excited to go on your next run. So it's really a masterpiece.
It's definitely the most approachable roguelike, I think, out there.
Agreed.
Easily.
That's good.
Yeah. And like the gameplay is fun enough where like everything's different. You have 6 different weapons to choose from, and each weapon plays completely differently. Like Austin was saying, you have your mirror where you power up like from the darkness that you collect through each run. So yeah, I don't know what took it so long. I actually already double dipped on the Switch, and I'm probably gonna triple dip now. Because
how did you double dip on the Switch? Did you buy a physical and digital, or?
Yeah, because it was only digital when it first came out, and they like just announced their in the direct they did in February, they had the physical release with like the art book, so I bought that. And now I want to get it for PlayStation or Xbox, where I can do all the trophies.
Yeah, I think I bought Hades for like $10 on sale, and I'm willing to give them more money for that game. Like, you all deserve more than $10. I don't know why I waited so long to buy this.
Yeah, like I have no problem triple dipping on this one. It ends up being like $60 anyway after all 3 purchases.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember how much I spent on it on the Switch. I want to say I got it for $20 on the Switch. I got it fairly close to when it released, because it was one of those ones where I really had to think about, like, was I going to get it? You know, given that it was already on PC, and like I typically prefer to play certain games on the PC, but at the same time it looks so good on Switch, so I was like, I got to do it. And here we are at a crossroads where it's like, oh, am I going to get this game again? And more than likely it looks like I'm going to double dip on this one. Yeah, but I agree with Dan and Austin on this one. Like, when it comes to roguelikes, this is one of the lesser frustrating roguelikes you could play. Like, it actually finds ways to throw fun factor into it. So yeah, check that out if you get a chance, Pat.
Yep. I played Returnal recently as for a roguelike, and that just frustrated the heck out of me. So
I'll tell you, Hades is not like Returnal. Returnal frustrates me. I like those kind of type of games, but Returnal frustrates me. So
all right. So you guys know it's not an episode of Crossroads if we don't talk about Cyberpunk, right?
I was wondering if this was going to come up this week.
Yeah. All right. So, Cyberpunk 2077 is returning to the PlayStation Store. Yeah. Woo, yeah. Finally. Yeah. Whoa. All right, last week, CD Projekt Red announced that on June the 21st, which was yesterday, Cyberpunk 2077 will be returned to the PlayStation Store, which is more than 6 months following its removal from the storefront. The PS4 version of the game was removed from the PlayStation Store after reports of the game's performance started to pour in, noting that gameplay of CP77 was problematic on the base version of the PS4, and this also extended to the base version of the Xbox One. And it also was reported it had even less than desirable play on the PS4 Pro, the stronger system. This news the news of the game's return comes to us via a regulatory disclosure by Cyberpunk 2077's developer, CD Projekt Red. Wait, I'm sorry. From CD Projekt, the parent company of CD Projekt Red, saying that Sony had agreed to reinstate the game. CD Projekt exclusives explained that they frequently updated Sony on fixes for the game's bugs and performance issues since the title was pulled from the store on December the 17th of 2020. Sony has confirmed in a statement to Polygon.com that Cyberpunk 2077 will in fact return to the PlayStation Store. As we already know, it's already back. It also cautioned users against playing the game on the base version of the PS4 until CD Projekt Red fixes some more issues. In a quote, Sony Interactive Entertainment can confirm that Cyberpunk 2077 will be relisted on the PlayStation Store. Users will continue to experience performance issues with the PS4 edition, while CD Projekt Red continues to improve the stability across all platforms. Sony Interactive Entertainment recommends playing the title on the PS4 Pro or PS5 for the best user experience. Alright, now for a little bit of trivia. CD Projekt Red, the company responsible for developing Cyberpunk 2077, has not made any further comment about Cyberpunk 2077's return. Cyberpunk was released in December following nearly a decade of development. Severe technical problems plagued nearly all versions of the game, resulting in the game struggling on PS4 and Xbox One consoles, and resulted in refunds being offered from both Microsoft and Sony to their dissatisfied customers. Sony would subsequently pull the game from its storefront, and Microsoft would add a warning label for the Xbox One version on the Xbox Store. Crazy. Console owners are still able to buy physical discs, but CD Projekt Red had said that the digital version's absence may have slowed down sales on the Xbox and PC, as well as on PlayStation, of course. All right, so guys, what is your official stance on Cyberpunk 2077?
Like everything else, tell me when the PS5 version is out and I can buy it on disc, and I will get it then, and I might play it if it's still working at this point. I've never been so like excited about a game and then unexcited about a game in my life. I don't think I've ever been like, oh man, this game's gonna be awesome, and now it's like, maybe I'll play it one day. Like maybe I'll play it one day, and I want to still be excited for it, but it's like it missed its mark so much that there's so many more games I want to play that I'm like, I don't, if I miss out on this one, I miss out on this one. There's just games that I'm gonna have to miss out on, and it's sad. It's a weird mess, and I hate it for CD Projekt Red just because how well Witcher 3 did and how it was so good for them, and they were going to be the new Bethesda rival, and Bethesda was going to have to step their game up, and now it's like, oh, man, y'all really you killed it.
Yeah, no, it's Cyberpunk 2077 was a tragic story. Like, it is a good game, but it plays like a piece of crap. And there's so much potential in that game. Like, I was lucky. I got both systems, PS5 and an Xbox Series X at launch, and I decided to get Cyberpunk 2077 on the X, and it ran better than what a lot of other people were experiencing. So I didn't have all those game-breaking bugs. But I'm kind of also with Austin in the same boat as I kind of want the next gen version, before I finish this game. But overall, I hope they can recover from this, because I do feel like there is a good game underneath all this controversy.
Yep.
I don't really have an opinion on Cyberpunk, because right when it came out, I've always been in the camp, I'm gonna wait till I get a PS5 to play it. So I actually didn't really pay attention to all the complaints and all of that. And the fact that it's back on the PlayStation Store, nobody's gonna buy it. It already got so much negative publicity, and like I mean, I forgot the game even existed by the time February rolled around. So I don't have a strong opinion or really anything to say on it, but like Austin, maybe I will play it one day.
You saying that kind of rolls me into like a follow-up question. Is playing Cyberpunk 2077 on the base consoles truly a lost cause for gamers?
Seems that way.
I think so.
I am really curious to play, like, if I could get a Cyberpunk 2077 disc on the version 1 that my brother still has, like PS4 that has not been updated that I know of. I would like to see how it runs on there. But yeah.
I think that they have to do some major rebranding of this game when the next gens come out. Kind of like how No Man's Sky did a couple of years after that game came out, and now, look at it. It's actually a success, and people love it now.
It's crazy, the story of No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky came out, and that was a game that everybody absolutely detested. It was getting all sorts of tomatoes and stuff, like chucked at and stuff, and now look at it, like 3 years after its launch, is winning awards.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 is another great example of, it came out too early. And now that they had some time to fix it up, it's actually a decent game.
Well, I don't know, like, this game had been in development for 8 years. Is 8 years? I feel like that was too long.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I just, I mean, like, Final Fantasy 15 was a game that was in development for like 10 years as well, and even that wasn't flawless. Like, the first half of the game actually felt like a game, and then the second half of the game felt completely rushed, and I never wanted to play that game again.
Right, you mean like 50% of Square Enix's titles lately?
Yeah, pretty much since like 2002.
Hey, did you guys ever play Xenogears?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so remember how well paced Disc 1 was? And then you got the disc 2, and everything was like in hurry up mode. Like, it went to story mode to talk about battles. That was like, come on, guys, we should have been playing these battles. But we're getting someone sitting in a chair retelling the story about it. It's like, what happened here?
Disc 1 was basically like a walking simulator.
I will
like
say,
you move along, you read a half hour of text, then you move for another like 4 minutes, and then you read another half hour of text.
and then Faye, grabs a snatches a submarine out of the sand and hurls it at a mountain.
I will say, LeRon, we do know someone who played Cyberpunk on the OG PS4, and she got, I don't know if she ever finished, but shout out to Nelly.
Nelly's in the chat right now. She should shout and let us know what her progress was in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, because I know she was playing it on the PS4, so I'm curious to see how far she got, what her experience was. Because she said she didn't have that many problems, if I remember correctly.
I got the game for PC, which was, in my opinion, the platform it was developed on in the first place. I got it for PC, right. And I really didn't have that many problems. But I will say this: the major hiccup I had was I was playing on an outdated graphics card. So I understand some of the problems that PS4 and Xbox One S players experienced with it. I got that, but I immediately got my hands on a 2080 Super graphics card, and those problems went away. In the chat, Nelly says she was waiting for the patches. It's back on the PlayStation Store, and she's gonna jump back into it. Yeah, it's out. So I mean, definitely take a look at it. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next news topic. PSVR 2, the release date is reportedly targeting holiday 2020. This info is from Bloomberg via Kotaku, which has published a report that hints that the PSVR 2 release date is targeting a holiday 2022 window, with Sony apparently set to release a new VR headset during that particular time. I guess the way the wording goes on this, we'll start seeing PSVR 2 games like showing up, and then the actual hardware itself is going to be made available. The story itself primarily focuses on Japan Display Incorporated's decision to shift away from providing LCD screens to Apple in favor of VR headsets, where it goes on to note that Sony is not part of this trend. As a result, the format holder plans to use Samsung Display Company's OLED panels in its next generation PlayStation VR goggles. So it looks like everybody's stepping their game up. Nintendo's on the OLED train, and Sony's back on the OLED train, because I love my Generation 1 PS Vita and its OLED goodness. And it's all set to launch during the holiday period of next year. Now, this sounds an awful lot like PSVR 2's release window will be around that time period, but we should all take this with a pinch of salt for the time being, as Sony obviously hasn't announced anything at this point other than the fact that it's working on next generation PSVR. Sony hasn't revealed what the new PSVR hardware will even look like. As a matter of fact, the picture you guys saw in the link that I provided in the Twitch chat, that's a mock-up. Like, it's not even reality yet. Reality, haha. But we do know that the device's controller will utilize a number of features that have already been utilized in the DualSense controller. So the question I have for you guys on this: are you excited for virtual reality yet, with the PSVR 2 becoming more and more of a reality? I know I'm going crazy with the puns tonight. I'm sorry. Dan, what's your thoughts on virtual reality? What's your thoughts on it?
I'm sorry, I have no opinion on this one either. I've never really played anything in VR, and I just don't have interest in it. And I don't know anybody who plays in VR or has interest in it. So, I don't know why I don't have any interest in it either. It just, I don't know. It's just something that never reached out to me. So the story, this one just ain't for me.
What do you say, Pat?
Well, unfortunately, I'm one of the people that kind of gets motion sickness with the PSVR or any VR, it seems like.
Yeah.
So I'm not terribly excited. I did like Beat Saber a lot. I I don't know. Like I guess I kind of want to know what makes this one a 2 versus what they have right now. Like, is it supposed to be better graphics? Is it supposed to kind of get rid of that motion sickness?
Well, the biggest draw I know for this is definitely pixel density.
Mhm.
This time around, so like it's going to have a better resolution. I do not know the specs about the resolution, but it's already reportedly being better than even Oculus's current resolution. And of course, all the functionality that's similar to DualSense controllers and stuff like that. That's the most I know without doing like a deep dive into like what the features are, because I'm also like you. VR gives me motion sickness as well. Like and plus like I have a hard time also like assessing depth with this stuff on my head because I have astigmatism in both eyes.
Same.
So this is why guys like me were no fun with when 3D movies and 3D gaming was a thing. It's like no, I don't see it. As a matter of fact, I'm just looking at a distorted screen right now. Yeah, Austin.
Yeah, I did have the PSVR and I did really like it when there were games coming out for it, but eventually it hit a long time where in between like I think Iron Man VR, in between Iron Man VR and like the last like Arizona Sunshine, there's a good like 6 months, 7 months difference, and I was like, I just don't care to use it anymore. And the problem with it was it was so many wires. It was a pain to pull everything out. It was a lot of stuff to have out. So you'd put it up, and then anytime you feel like VR, you're like, oh, I gotta set it all back up again, and so I'm hoping PSVR 2, it really helps with the functionality. They got to go a lot cheaper. I mean, the PSVR was, I believe it was $400, maybe $500 when you got all the controllers and stuff. Because I didn't have any of the Move controllers, so I think it was $500 with the Move controllers.
Yeah, it was kind of pricey, and luckily for me, I still had like some Move controllers sitting around from the PS3.
Well, and it was at the time it was the cheapest option. Vive was like 700, the Oculus was 1,000, or vice versa. And so now the Oculus is like $200. They have that $200 version now, and so PlayStation's really gonna have to cut the cost on it for it to be a big thing. And it's gonna have to be a lot simpler too. Like, and honestly, for me, I don't think we're there where like I'm going to see the best graphics in VR right now. So as long as you can make a cool experience that isn't going to make people sick, I think those are the key things you go for. And you make affordability, and then you make good games for it. And at first, it was a lot of fun. I played like the Arkham VR game, which I really liked. But after a while, I was like, well, there's nothing else. And Gran Turismo Sport was an okay game that I just didn't feel like grabbing my VR out for. So I'm interested to see what they do with this, but they're really gonna have to sell me, because at that point I was I had a lot more money back then. I was not in college or anything, so I all my money was whatever I want to do, and so I'm hoping that they sell me better on this one than they did the first one. So
yeah, I'm a hard sell. I'm a hard sell on this stuff. I look at a lot of this stuff as gimmicks. I was one of those people. I didn't even have a good time with the 3D settings on the 3DS. So yeah, like it's all like a glorified gimmick, just another way to pull money. Even though like all I want to do is just play video games. So I'm sorry from the Debbie Downer on anybody that's excited about PSVR, but like if I'm over at your house and everything, I'll try it out.
Yeah. Beat Saber alone makes me want to have the VR, because Beat Saber is a fun game. It's just fun.
Now, Beat Saber, that is a game that I actually had all sorts of fun with, but I like music games, so it doesn't take a lot. Like I'll play around with my discomfort for a little bit to play a music game. I will do that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like it's better on PC because you can get everyone's modded versions, which has all these songs that you could possibly want.
Yeah.
You have your whole Spotify playlist on Beat Saber, whereas PlayStation's limited to the original soundtrack. So that's the other thing. Like PlayStation's gonna have to do a lot more to kind of keep up with that kind of stuff.
Yep. All right, we're gonna move on to our next. We're gonna move on to our next topic. And this is gonna be pretty quick. Heck, we might not even discuss this one. PlayStation Now's the most played games of spring have been announced. This news comes to us via the PlayStation blog. There's so much to play this summer, including the newly released games on PlayStation Now for June, such as games like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is available until September 6th, Virtual Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, and Sonic Team Racing, and more. As we head into the summer season, we want to look back at some of the most played games based on global playtime hours on PlayStation Now during that whole spring time frame. So, without further ado, the PlayStation Now most played games on PS4 and PS5 console via downloading and streaming are Marvel's Avengers, which is available until July the 5th, Horizon Zero Dawn, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, which was previously available until the 29th of April, F1 2020, which we need to make note that game is not available in Japan, so it's a most played title everywhere except in Japan. It hit a list. And WWE 2K19. PlayStation Now's most played games on the PC via streaming. I keep forgetting PC is an option for PlayStation Now. I keep forgetting about that. We have Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Marvel's Avengers, and Detroit Become Human. All solid titles, by the way. All 5 of those. Well, maybe the Avengers. Avengers kind of suspect, but the other titles, the other titles definitely are all solid titles. PlayStation Now has a regularly refreshed library of games available to stream or download. Be sure to check out titles like Marvel's Avengers and Jump Force, which are available until August the 2nd, 2021, and of course The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt before they leave the service. If you want to find out more about the wealth of experiences that await you, keep up to date with the hundreds of PS2, PS3, and PS4 classics and the latest blockbuster titles in PlayStation's Now library. There's a handy list that you can check out over at the PlayStation blog. And always be sure to stay tuned to PS blog for more monthly PlayStation Now announcements, detailing the latest games, joining its library. And of course, we here on Crossroads, we always give you like the monthly update at the beginning of each month when we get the announcements for what new games are coming to both of those services. So definitely come back and check us out. What's that?
There's only 2 quick things I have on this thing.
Okay.
And that's PlayStation Now most played games on PS4 and PS5 console. Why? That you can tell that we do not have the Game Pass type of games when F1 2020 and WWE 2K19 are the top 5 most played on PS4. And Black Ops 3, which is arguably one of my least favorite Call of Duty games ever, it hurts my soul. But I think that's because I think the Zombie Chronicles is included in that as well. And I think that's probably why people are playing it, because it's got the Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 zombies as well. And then the other one is Bloodborne is number 1 on PC PS Now, which is not shocking considering the PC community is asking and begging for Sony to put Bloodborne on PC. And why it's not on there yet makes no sense. No sense. But we're going to get into another game that's going to be coming to PC. So...
It's almost like you have my notes in front of you. Oh,
almost,
wait, you do.
Almost.
All right. So you know what? Let's just go ahead and break into it right now. All right. So, Ghost of Tsushima's only on PlayStation branding has been removed from the boxes. Yeah. Let that sink in for a moment. The only on PlayStation branding has seemingly been removed from the box art for the phenomenal runaway hit by Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima, leading to speculation about a PC port for the open world title. As highlighted by VGC.com, the new box art can be found on the PlayStation Direct website, and the branding was also removed from. And just of note, this branding, the only on PlayStation branding, was removed from Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn box arts before there were PC port announcements. So a little bit of speculation there. However, This branding has been used on cross-gen titles released since hasn't been used on cross-gen titles released since last November, which could suggest that Ghost of Tsushima might actually be on its way to PS5 in a remaster form instead of a PC version. It has also been used for PS5. It has not been also used for PlayStation 5 exclusives. So it might just be that Sony is slowly phasing out the branding of it, possibly. With Uncharted 4 Thief's End set to be the next title to come to PC, that game hasn't had an only on PlayStation branding removed, which does suggest there is no consistency to show how Sony is using the tagline these days. So, we would say, hold off on assuming that the game is coming to PC for now, and if it does, it will likely be a few more years down the line, not in 2021, aligning with Sony's PC strategy. So, I've said this before. Like, what wasn't it on last show like 2 weeks ago that I was saying, like, you know, like after we heard about Uncharted 4 coming, I think Austin, I said that, you know, like, we know the architecture of PS4 and PS5 games, you know, makes it easier now for those games to be ported to PC. This is why it's probably going to take a little while for, like, well, actually, wait. I did say on the last show that, you know, we probably won't see the Nathan Drake collection because those are technically PS3 games, but I just realized something. The Nathan Drake collection was a port that was put over on PS4 hardware. Like, that game is only on PS4.
Right. I think my argument was that we wouldn't see Last of Us 1 and the Uncharted collection on PC because its roots are on PS3, and they probably have to build it. I would think it's easier to port games from PS4 than it is for PS3.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a tech guy. You know this. I like games, and after that I'm dumb. But to me it feels like the PS3 had a lot of tech issues, and from what I've always heard, and so to me it seemed like maybe that's why we won't get Last of Us 1 and the Uncharted Drake collection, because it wasn't a straight up like rebuilding. It wasn't like Shadow of the Colossus or anything like that, where it was a complete remaster or whatever. It was a, you know, PS3 kind of port kind of deal. So that's why I wonder if we'll even see that.
Yeah. So Pat, Ghost of Tsushima is like that hit that keeps on giving for Sony. Do you think based off this article that there's possibility that we are getting the PC port of that next after Uncharted 4?
You know what? I could definitely see it happening. Like you said, it was a very successful game, and they seem to be focused a lot on I don't know, those bigger adventure games, and Ghost of Tsushima definitely fits that bigger adventure game like Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Uncharted 4. So I could see that happening.
Yeah, Dan, what say you about Ghost of Tsushima?
I loved Ghost of Tsushima. Sorry, I missed the topic of the story. So
no, it's cool. We're there's speculation because the only on PlayStation branding that you see on the on a lot of box art for PS4 games, it's disappeared off off of more recent releases of games that are still available for PS4. And Ghost of Tsushima is one where the box art all of a sudden it no longer says only on PlayStation. So the internet's going crazy thinking that a PS4 port's coming. Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, man, if that was on like a PC that ran a great graphics card, that game's gonna look beautiful.
Yep.
Says
we're not just talking about that hot spring scene either.
Nah, Ghost of Tsushima is a beautiful game. I was holding out on it actually to get the PS5 version, but if there's actually no, because I mean the PC version wouldn't come anytime soon. So of course the PS5 version comes out first, which we all know it probably will. Then I will get the PS5 version and probably just call it a day, you know. But then again, I'm also one of those guys where I've always said like I always want to play the game where I have the best experience at. So if it's possible that this game's coming to PC, I may just continue to hold out. But we don't know until we get there. All right. Well, that takes care of all the news topics. So, to get the scoop on all tonight's topics, links have been provided in our Twitch stream chat. Go check them out, and then continue the conversation with us on our Twitter page at @PS_Crossroads. So, no questions from the audience tonight. So I guess it's time to get into our big topic. What do you guys say? We're in the home stretch now.
Let's do it.
All right. So, our topic for tonight is all about E3 and Summer Game Fest 2021. We're having a discussion. We're basically breaking down what we thought were the winners, losers, and also we're going to talk about where the hell was Sony at. We're going to do that. So, here we go. E3 has packed up their bags and moved on, finishing out their expo for this year, but Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest is still going on. At least I think it is. I really haven't heard anything from it since the Friday before last.
I know there's some showcases happening in July, like the Annapurna.
Yep. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
There's that. I think the EA Games thing is also I think it's on July 22nd. And the Steam Fest is going on right now, where basically like if you're a PC gamer and stuff, head over there, like look at all the crazy ass demos and stuff, and download some stuff and check everything out. I've downloaded They Always Run. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but that was one of the ones I was talking about on the Boss Rush podcast on Sunday night. All right. There were with E3 and the Summer Game Fest, there were many surprises as well as some big disappointments from both those digital events. But tonight we're gonna basically talk about our biggest takeaways from the shows. So here's how it's gonna go, guys. Austin and I already did this with Corey on the Boss Rush podcast on Sunday night, and I figured we might as well revive it for this show as well. We're gonna talk about 3 honorable mentions. Like 3 games that have our attention but haven't actually gotten us to say we'll spill the money out of our wallets for, and then we're gonna talk about our 3 biggest things or topics that got us excited from those shows, if any. I feel like we're probably gonna mainly showcase more on E3 than we are on Summer Game Fest, even though I know Austin's going to be jonesing about one announcement that was like very early in Summer Game Fest. I know he is because he loves that whole franchise, despite whatever we'll say about its original developer, creator.
Listen,
you're talking about Tiny Tina Wonderlands, right? Borderlands, Yeah, it started to go downhill, but Tiny Tina's probably just going to save the whole franchise.
I think so. I mean, I love Borderlands. 3 was it's okay, but man, Tiny Tina Wonderlands, I cannot wait. I cannot speak on behalf of Randy Pitchford, but I can speak on behalf of Gearbox, and they make a great game that I love.
All right, so we're gonna do it basically the same. So we're just gonna go around the table. We're gonna start with you, Pat. Give us 3 honorable mentions, and then we'll move on to Dan, and then of course Austin, and then I'll round it out before we get to the next part.
All right. Let's see. The one that really shocked me the most was probably Forza Horizon
5.
Yeah, thank you. I am not a racing fan other than like arcadey ones like Mario Kart, but like I was very impressed with Forza, and being again on Game Pass, this is one that I actually think I'm going to try out and see if, I'll actually enjoy it. Mm-hmm. But it looks so beautiful. I loved how they took those realistic photos, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, this isn't a photo. This is actual gameplay right here. Mm-hmm. And then they showed the cars.
Yeah, like that blew me away.
Mm-hmm. Another one I would say would be the Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope.
Yes.
I like the idea of the Mario and Rabbids game. It was very hard to actually get into, I thought, but I hear that I like the changes that they made, that they showed in the battles for Spark of Hope, that I'm definitely willing to give this one a shot as well.
Mm-hmm.
As for a final one, I will have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
definitely Forza and
Mario Rabbids.
Yeah, those two definitely sparked my interest.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about your third honorable mention, Dan, what's your honorable mentions from the show? Well, what piqued your interest, but you haven't decided to go all in yet?
So, first one is gonna be Metroid Dread.
Wait, that's an honorable mention?
Yeah,
Really?
because I mean, I'm not a big Metroid fan. Like, even these newer Metroidvania games where you have to memorize the maps and backtrack and everything, like those games have just never really clicked with me. But man, this one looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, I watched a lot of it on the Treehouse. The gameplay looked fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I'm a total Nintendo cuck, so I'll probably end up buying it anyway.
Oh no, you didn't. No.
Wait, is that a banned word too? Is that a banned word?
Not yet.
Only the S word.
Not
only
yet.
The S word.
Only the S word. Okay.
So I'm definitely gonna end up buying this. Another one is Starlink. I know they didn't show much of Starlink, but I really do like everything out of Elder Scrolls, so I'm gonna go with that one next.
Starfield.
Starfield. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Starlink.
I was like,
wow.
I thought Starlink came out. I was like, I remember that game.
Starlink is
I
that
didn't hear anything about
Star Fox game. And let's see the third one. I'm gonna go with Metal Slug Tactics.
Yes.
That was shown in the Summer Games
Yes.
Fest, and it looked pretty good. I've never actually tried a Metal Slug game, but I'm a sucker for tactical RPGs, so I might end up giving this one a shot too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Austin, go.
I gotta give Starfield a shout out. It probably would be my number one game had we seen a little bit more, but since it's just this in-game engine, I understand, but it wasn't gameplay. It wasn't what I really want to see. But I am excited for the game. I love Bethesda. I love anything they do. I'm gonna go with Advance Wars 1 and 2 because that blew me away. I was like, wow, that. I like those games on Game Boy Advance, and I always hear like, man, are they gonna bring that back? I didn't expect it to come back this year. I think that was like the biggest surprise for me. It was like I had no idea that would be.
I did not see that coming.
Okay.
Same developers.
Okay. So real talk about this. Like I saw the announcement of Advance Wars, but in that announcement, the only thing I saw was Advance Wars 1. So I went on about my business, and then came back, and I was like, wait, Advance Wars 1 and 2 in the same package? Like hell, yes.
Yeah.
Get your money's worth.
Like WarioWare would have been a shock, but we kept hearing about it so much before we and then they had that Nintendo survey that came out, was like, would you pay $60 for a WarioWare game? And I was like, yes, I would. And now we're gonna be paying $50 for a WarioWare game.
You
sir, are part of the problem.
I am, but I'm okay with it. I will do it for. I will salute Wario. I will do it. And then, yeah, man, I know I had games, but now I'm blanking on everything. There's just so many games, but
I know, right?
You know what? I want to give a shout out to Mario Plus Rabbids, because while I'm new, I played Mario Plus Rabbids at the beginning of the year this year. I do love that game, and I'm really glad that I played it so I could be excited with everyone else on Spark of Hope. I don't know how I feel about being able to move during your turns and stuff like that. It kind of gives me the same thing when South Park Stick of Truth was turn-based, and then Fractured Butthole was it had the more movements, and I was like, it made it more complicated than it needed to be. I just did it just for a fun time and be over with. So. But
I think it is still going to be on a grid, even though it showed free range movement within an area. But I think I read somewhere that it's still going to be grid based, so we'll see.
Okay. I just love the simplicity of that first one. That I would hope that they keep it the same. I know they got to innovate somehow to make it different, but
Right.
I really just it really is like, I think LeRon even said it. It was it's Final Fantasy. It's baby. It's it's baby's first Final Fantasy Tactics, and I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So but yeah, those are 3 shout outs I'll give.
Hey Pat, did you figure out your third honorable mention before I go?
Yeah. I would have to go with Redfall.
Oh yes.
That was one that I'm starting to give up on arcane games, especially Deathloop. I have no interest in Deathloop whatsoever, but I like the idea of what they have going on with Redfall, but we didn't see any gameplay trailer, so it's making me a little iffy. But the word on the street of how it's supposed to be like an open world co-op experience against like vampires, it sounds intriguing. So I just want to see more. I'm on the fence right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's got my attention too, but I mean, I say this a lot on shows, and I'll go ahead and repeat it again. Like a feature trailer is not gonna it'll get my attention, but it won't get me to say yes, take my money. Like I gotta see gameplay, and I don't know, I don't recall seeing any gameplay at all for Redfall. Did you guys recall that? Did I miss it? Okay, yeah, but I mean, it has my attention because if the game looks anything like how that trailer looked, like it looks like it's gonna be one of those stylish type of games, I know it's gonna be basically like it probably is gonna have the same formula as like Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood that's coming soon and stuff like that. But I'm gonna keep my eye on it. It's one of those ones that actually had my attention as well. I mean, when you have a sick ass movie trailer for your game, I'll pay attention. That's why Elden Ring was so hot. But Austin and I both said it. That looks like a game that we will never play.
Yeah, I'm not good enough to play those games. I think Redfall is really interesting to me. I've given it the same treatment as I did Starfield, though. Like I don't know what it's gonna be like yet. But I think watching Castlevania, like I've been watching Castlevania, finishing it up, and just the vampire scene. I'm like, man, I could use a cool vampire game. Redfall sounds great. Honestly, I wish it was out now.
All right. For my honorable mentions, of course, Mario and Rabbids. Dan, I gotta thank you for putting me on that game. Like I definitely picked that game up on the eShop when it was like $11.
Yep. It always is.
Yeah, it's always on sale. Like it's funny because like I will be at a store and see the game for $60 on the shelf, and then by the time I get back home, like it was like anywhere from like $9 to like $21 on the eShop. But it's funny. But yeah, like I'm definitely gonna be picking that one up because I mean honestly, I love tactical games like that. Like it gives me those Final Fantasy Tactics vibes. In the Mushroom Kingdom wait, is it Mushroom Kingdom? It's
Rabbids was Mushroom Kingdom, yeah.
Oh, the Rabbids version of the Mushroom Kingdom. There we go. Thank you. Somebody keep me straight. My next honorable mention is Starfield, but that's also another one of those where it's like like I need to see the game. I need to see gameplay, and I don't need, even though yes, the cinematic trailer they had was all using in-game assets and stuff like that, but still, what's the game gonna play like? The game, okay, like based on what we saw, it looks pretty, but pretty games play like potatoes all the time, and I need to know for sure this game is going to be a masterpiece. Of course, like last night, Austin, remember last night they were telling me like it's a Bethesda game. It's gonna play like Elder Scrolls in space.
I mean, I can understand that. Yeah, it's gonna be Elder Scrolls in space, but I do like the way that that Todd Howard put it, where that doesn't. It's an okay way to say, but it doesn't justify all that it's gonna do. And like Jesse's mentioned, like the fact that you're gonna be able, like every button in the spaceship is gonna mean something. Like you can do stuff with it. Like I'm really excited to see what all they do with this and.
And
with the new engine, it's gonna be awesome.
when Jesse explained that to me last night, I was like, I hope they don't overcomplicate this game.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to make coffee every morning just to be able to have my stamina up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to be like a spaceship simulator, but I am in love with the idea of like maybe upgrading your ship. Like I would love, like, honestly, I just really want a Firefly game where, you know, you're upgrading your ship, you go around doing different bounty missions and stuff. Like that's what I really want. And maybe I'm just hoping Starfield's the same.
Wouldn't that be awesome though? Like an actual Firefly game that's not like some type of like just space roamer.
Yes, I would murder for that game. I would murder.
Yeah, and my third honorable mention is Far Cry 6. I'm gonna say I've never been like the biggest fan of Far Cry, but Far Cry stepped up this game since Far Cry 4. Like it well, actually I want to say Far Cry 3. It stepped up this game since then, you know, and man, like they're putting serious presentation value into these games and stuff like that. I got the full edition of Far Cry 5, so I got Far Cry 5 plus the expansions, and the plus the expansion and all the DLCs. I got it in one package and stuff like that. It's fun, it's exciting, and hopefully Far Cry 6. It looks like it's going to deliver the same way. So I'm definitely amped for it. Okay.
What's that? Giancarlo Esposito. My God, he can play the best villains.
Yeah. Gus Fring is one of my favorites of all time.
So good. It's so good.
Yep. All right. So our biggest games announcements or topics that got us excited for E3. Let's go in reverse this time. So Austin, you're up this time.
Okay.
These are do all three. These are the ones that they've got your money. These are the ones.
Well, number one is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I cannot wait. I love it. I am so excited. I love Borderlands. It's one of my favorite series, and I think I said this on the Boss Rush show. I think that Godfall was kind of like their beta test for how well to kind of like do the ideas they want to do with the swords and stuff. And as soon as they called like Godfall like Sworderlands, it instantly popped in my mind. It's like, oh, they should make a, they should make a Borderlands where it's like medieval and uses swords and magic powers. And look at it, that's what they're doing. And it's I cannot wait. I love Tiny Tina. I love the world. I enjoy the humor. I know not everyone enjoys Borderlands humor, but I love that kind of humor. So it's I'm very, very excited about it. It's something I play with my friends here in my hometown. We all play the Borderlands games together, so I'm excited to play that one as well. My number two is Mario Party Superstars, because I love Mario Party, and I love that we're gonna get the N64 maps, the N64 games. I know LeRon is rolling his eyes as far back as he can in the back of his head, but I love it. I just love Mario Party to death, and I really hope we get the Western map. That's my favorite map on Mario Party 2. I really hope that we get that map.
Mario Party 8 is the only Mario Party game I'll play. The current one on the Switch is the only one I'll play. It's the only one I've ever had fun with. All the other ones.
The one on the Switch?
Yeah.
Really?
Technically, that's Mario Party 8. I don't think they gave it a number though. Like, it's not a numbered game, is it?
No, it would technically be like 11.
Yeah, it would be 11.
8 was on the Wii. 8's on the Wii. Yeah. And I personally love it.
Well, see, that just shows how much I keep track of the Mario Party.
The best Mario Party is DS. I stand by it. Mario Party DS is the best.
Okay, Mario Party DS was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I will give it that.
But yeah, I'm really excited about it. And the third one, I'm gonna change it up a little bit since I did it on Boss Rush, and I honestly don't remember what my number 3 was. I just remember what my number 1 was. I'm gonna say Far Cry 6. I really did stay in the dark on E3, but I I saw some pictures of Esposito, man, and I'm so excited. And the trailer they showed was like, he's a bad guy. He is a bad guy, and Far Cry does it so well. Plus, I like the DLC that they're coming out with, where you're gonna be able to play as Voss, and you're gonna be able to play as Ping from 4, and then you're gonna be able to play as is it Joseph or John? Joseph. Yeah, Joseph from 5. And I personally love 3 and 5, and I really like 4, so I can't wait to go back and play in those worlds as well. So a lot of cool stuff for Far Cry fans. I love Far Cry, so I'm very excited for it.
All right, Dan, you're up.
So my number one is Mario Rabbids. I am so excited for this game. I've wanted a sequel since I played the first one. Not much else to say about it than what everybody else has already said. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. And Far Cry 6, I think that looks awesome. Pretty much to piggyback on what Austin was saying, I think it was a great presentation. Seeing Giancarlo on there, gotta love that. So that one was really cool as well. And then I'm gonna go with low hanging fruit here and just say Breath of the Wild 2. They didn't show a lot of footage of it, but the over analyzing of this game all over the internet and all over the POW Block folks, it's really funny to watch. And
I swear, just seeing the conversation about who's that falling from the sky, that conversation alone.
I thought it was so funny with the E3 presentation where they're like, all right, here's our Zelda news, and it was like Age of the Calamity DLC, and then the Game & Watch Zelda, and I was like, I would love it if it just ends right here. No Breath of the Wild, just these 2 announcements and be done. And then they're like, oh, one more thing. I was like, damn it, here it is.
I mean, but it can't be that far into they can't be that far into development with what they showed. They showed barely anything. It was Link falling from the sky, Zelda falling into a pit. Then they showed a castle for 36 seconds of the minute 20-second presentation. And then there was just some weird thing with Link's arm. David Lasby tells us that Breath of the Wild is pretty much a ripoff of this anime called Princess Mononoke. And I guess in this anime, the enemy is a giant pig like Ganon. And one of the characters has a fused arm that they use powers with. So
he's totally right. He's totally right.
He is. I was thinking about that because I was like, I've seen Princess Mononoke once, and I was like, wait, this is starting to sound familiar now.
Yeah, and
does that mean Zelda would be a playable character? Because Princess Mononoke did she fought.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it. I just saw a trailer and I was like, whoa, the art style is very much Breath of the Wild. So, I mean, I'm just super excited for this game. I loved the first one. I played the hell out of it, and I'm definitely going to play this one like crazy again.
Yeah, I think this game is going to be 2022, and I think it might even be 2023. Because my argument was it came out a month after Horizon, and Horizons may come out this year, but it probably will be next year, what I think. And so I'm like, Breath of the Wild is going to take longer than Horizon, because it's got to have that Nintendo polish. There can't be no bugs on it, whereas Horizon they'll drop a day one patch or whatever. So,
or Nintendo could be a total dick in hiding their release date because they want to release it on the same day as Horizon again.
I mean, it was just a month after, because that was the Zelda or the Switch release. Because I'm pretty sure that was in March. Because they spent so much money. Because I bought.
Here's a hot take. I think they're holding that back for the release of Switch Pro.
Yeah, that's kind of the speculation around it, and it seemed like a lot of what they showed was in 60 FPS. But I mean, We'll see.
Dan, did you ever eat that shoe, by the way?
No, not yet. I got to figure out a way to prepare it.
All right, Pat, you're up. What's the three things from E3 that are guaranteed to get your money?
Okay, Metroid Dread definitely is going to get my money.
Boom.
I was looking forward to Metroid Prime 4, but I really do love the 2D Metroid, so I was pleasantly surprised with that.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei 5. But you know what? They just had to say the name and give me a release date, and that's all I needed. I love that series.
I think that was on my list on Boss Rush, and
it was one of them.
Yeah.
And then the third one, surprisingly, is actually the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles.
Okay, why you say surprisingly? Why you say surprisingly?
Because a lot of people hated the Capcom showcase.
The Capcom show could have been better for sure. Like, I mean, like basically all they showed was stuff that we had already seen.
Yeah.
Until we got to Ace Attorney, and then they talked about what they plan to do going into the tournament season for esports.
Yeah, but I absolutely love the Phoenix Wright series, and I was gonna buy this one like when they first announced it, but it was cool kind of seeing the additional features like the dance of deduction and how you can kind of like, I guess, push the jury into believing what you're trying to tell them. I thought that was cool.
Are you gonna play Danganronpa, the collection, or have you already played Danganronpa?
I played all three of them already, so I don't think I'll get the collection. The little additional game doesn't seem worth it to me, but it's a fun series, and I recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Nintendo players to play it. I love those games to death, and so I'm ready for Nintendo people to be able to play it.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, this one's gonna be pretty similar. So was guaranteed to get my money off of what we saw from both E3 or Summer Game Fest. Metal Slug Tactics. Yes. I'm a sucker for tactical games. I said this a little while ago. I'm a sucker for tactical games, but man, Metal Slug Tactics, like that animation style, and just like the grid combat and stuff. Like, how am I gonna say I'm not getting this game? And plus, like, Metal Slug is just a mayhem game. So like, you saw this? Did you guys see in the trailer where like the guy threw a grenade and that entire bridge just came down on that row of tanks? That alone is worth the price of admission. Advance Wars 1 and 2, also another one, so I take my money. Nintendo's gonna be living the good life off of me. It's insane, but I mean, like, Advance Wars 1 and 2, like, I mean, I jailbroke my Vita just so I could play Advance Wars 1 and 2 on it.
Yeah, you can play it on the comfort of your own home screen.
On the Switch. Oh, and by the way, I was one of those people that when I first saw it, I was like, I didn't know, I was kind of turned off that they redone the art style. Not saying that I wanted just to be a port of the game, like with the in its 260p glory, trying to play it on our 4K television and stuff like that. So, but I was kind of thrown off by it, by the art style. But after looking at like the deep dive on the Treehouse, I was like, oh man, this is great. Like I want to play it. And then they did like a side by side comparisons of what the old game looked like versus this one. I was like, oh hell yes, like let's do this. Now, I'm praying though, because I know like the hard games to mess around with are the 3DS games. I'm praying that we get Advance Wars Dual Strike sometime in the future. I want that because Dual Strike was my favorite of all the Advance Wars games.
Hopefully this remaster sells.
Yeah, I hope it sells. It's guaranteed sale for me, but I can't speak for the rest of people because I don't know. Like I feel like tactical games, like it's kind of a mixed bag for people in this day and age. Like some people love it, some people hate it. Like what's that Project Triangle game? Like I'm getting that game when it comes out.
Oh,
Looks so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And I know some people looking like, ugh, that's ugly, because it looks like what's the game?
Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, I was thinking Traveler, but I couldn't remember the first part. But yeah, like tactic games, I will play those. and of course, without it, this is no shock for anybody here. Metroid Dread. It's Metroid, it's my number one Nintendo franchise of all times. Even though Advance Wars is kind of sneaking up on it. but yeah, Metroid Dread. I was actually at work. And everybody was blowing me up on my phone. I was like, new Metroid announced, because they just knew I'm like a Metroid fanatic.
I wanted to text you too, but I was like, I can't be the one that blows it for him. Because I spent so much time and effort making fun of you for Metroid being a dead series.
It's true though. I feel like I have all the franchise, but then again, I will say this: like Nintendo kind of just phoned it in with their Metroid and Zelda 35th anniversaries this year, and they kind of just phoned it in on these, like no pageantry. But then on their same direct, they're like, "Oh, this game is celebrating its 25th year anniversary. Let's look at Super Monkey Ball." And it's like,
Monkey Ball celebrating an anniversary, and then they're like, "Here's a Game and Watch. Go pound sand."
Pretty much.
Dragon Quest did it right. They I think they're on their 30th or 35th anniversary, and they had their own stream, 6 new titles.
Yeah.
And they're doing that remake in the 2D HD. It looks so good.
It looks good. It looks good. It looks good. I don't know if I'm getting it, but it looks good.
Yeah. Had that been at E3, that'd be in my top 3 anticipated games for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't even like Dragon Quest that much, but I'm gonna get it just because I love that art style.
I mean, back in the days of Dragon Quest, before Dragon Quest it became what it is now, like you either played Dragon Quest or you played Phantasy Star, because they were both basically the same damn game. All right, so there's our honorable mentions. There's our games we're most excited for. But before we close out this topic, I need to ask the question: does Sony truly have something up their sleeves, or did they just sign their names on Summer Game Fest this year just to say they weren't completely excluded from being in the picture at all?
I can go first. You know what? They have to have something because they need to announce stuff that's coming out in fall. So I don't care if it's July or August, but they need to have a showcase sometime this summer to get us hyped up for their fall lineup. If there is a fall lineup. God, I hope there's a fall lineup.
Yeah, rumor mill is that a State of Play is coming next month.
Yeah. They've been doing it every 2 months, so it would make sense for it to be next month. But
yeah,
how big it's going to be? Is it going to be E3 presentation size? I wouldn't bet money on it.
They're gonna need to display games and not just do a highlight of a game.
Right.
Like now. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, that's kind of been their formula. Like they do a highlight reel coming soon, and they do one focus title, and the next State of Play, and then they do another highlight reel, then it's focus title. Well, it's time for the highlight reel. So,
yeah.
But there's got to be some meat and potatoes this highlight reel. Like I guarantee you, we're already gonna see some highlights of games that we already know are coming, but we gotta see some stuff that's brand spanking new also.
Right.
I mean, they could show us some God of War, and I think a lot of people would be satisfied with that, since it's supposed to be 2022.
Here's
Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, that's what I really want.
Here's my guess. They're probably gonna use this next one to show off. Gran Turismo 7. Because that's their next big marquee title that they need to focus on. Yeah, God of War just got delayed till next year, so there's a good possibility they're going to save that for later. That might be for one State of Play is coming around holiday season, stuff like that. I think Gran Turismo 7 will be the next one they do a focus on. And hell, it might even get some airtime in the next one if it's the highlight reel one, where I spend like 5 to 7 minutes on that game. But that's just my speculation. That's the next big game they need to focus on, because people are starting to get worried about it, because like the development scenes have all of a sudden gone all over the place with it, and so that's my speculation.
I just don't understand not showing up to E3.
Here we go.
But why? Like, I understand, like, if you're going to a convention and you have to pay for a booth and you have to pay to send people out there and you have to pay for people to be there all day. I get that. But, like, here's the thing with E3 being digital. There are so many more neutral eyes on everybody's presentations than there would be if it was just a random state of play in July or August, right? Like, the people watching that state of play, those are the people that have Sony and want to see what's coming out for them, not just people wanting to watch this kind of celebration of games. So people like me who don't give a care in the world about Xbox watched an Xbox presentation for the first time, and I was like blown away. And I'm even leaning towards Xbox now because of it. And I'm not the only one that's in that camp. So Sony not even showing up just allowed Xbox and Bethesda to just open this door for people who are on the fence and let them right on in. And for what? Like, that's what I mean. Just show up, Sony, and do a 20-minute presentation talking about what is coming down the line. Like, be present, get those neutral eyes, and make people want to get PlayStation 5s instead of Xboxes. I don't get it.
No, that's a very valid point, and I didn't think of that. A lot of people are paying attention to E3 that aren't even like video game fans, just because it's E3. That would have been a prime opportunity to get people who are not interested.
And if you look at the numbers of the most viewed, I think I get that tweet saved somewhere, but if you look at the most viewed presentations, it was Nintendo was at 3.1 million, Xbox was at 2.3 million, and even Ubisoft, Square Enix, Devolver, those are all over 1 million views at their highest peak. So people were even coming in and out, and these numbers are up more. So Sony is more popular than Xbox. I don't know about after that presentation, but Sony would have had 3 million views at their peak, and I bet 1 million of those eyes are going to be people that don't even have Sonys, like PlayStations. It's just like, it's such a stupid thing to miss out on that, and I can't see why they would do it. They don't even, did they answer like why they were doing that, or they're just like, nah, we're not doing it?
No, there was no official statement from Sony about. Well, I mean, they haven't really made an official statement about their stance on E3 since they made their official statement a couple of years ago about why they were not going to be like coming back to E3 stage. Because the last E3 that Sony was actually a part of, that was the year we got the announcement for Monster Hunter 5, which became Monster Hunter World. That was the last big thing. I remember that happening. I remember Detroit Become Human was also in that. I think God of War was also announced in that one too. As a matter of fact, God of War ended that one. Monster Hunter started, and God of War ended it. Yeah. So, but after that, that was the last E3 that Sony came out with a statement the beginning of the next year saying that they were not going to take the stage at E3s.
I mean, Nintendo has been doing that as well. And like, I get the in-person conference not wanting to do it, but like an all digital event, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I
go ahead,
think
Austin.
Mystery is key though, because if they would have showed up with what let's say they didn't show Horizon a few weeks ago, and they released the Death Stranding director's cut, and they showed Kena off a little bit more, and Deathloop a little bit off more. That's not enough to compete with Xbox and Nintendo's. Like, Xbox and Nintendo both had killer showcases that if Sony didn't have half of that, now because now you still control you still have a narrative of, oh, you just haven't seen what we've done yet. Whereas if we would have saw what they showed, then it'd been like, oh, that's all you got. That to me is a bigger loss to me than not showing up at all. And Horizon Forbidden West State of Play got 2.6 million views on its own, and that's just for one game.
Right.
So the viewership is going to happen. I don't think they need E3 to listen. Sony, Nintendo, and Xbox are all bigger than E3.
Yeah,
E3
that is
needs
true.
them. I mean, at the end of the day, E3 needs them, and I understand it is a gaming fest and that you want people to be there, and like, I get that. I want that. That's awesome. I remember watching all of the presentations when and taking off work just to watch all of them, but at the same time, it's a different world, and the fact that they haven't been there the last 2 years, like I don't necessarily miss them all that much because they got their own thing, own time, and I think they're doing it like Nintendo did, where we're just gonna have one every few months, and we're gonna show you a whole bunch of stuff, and we're gonna show you what we're working on, and they keep the narrative that way instead of just blowing their load on one event.
Yeah, you gotta look at it like this because of what like Nintendo's done it, Microsoft's done it. Microsoft was like, "Hey, we're not going to be at E3. We're going to be across the street during the same time that E3 is happening. Come check us out then." Sony is like, "Wait, we've got our own things going on, stuff like that." Because of what they've done, look at how many other like focused events we get now. Like Square Enix, I mean, they're trying, but they're doing their stuff now. Yeah. Ubisoft's doing their thing now. Which, by the way, I was kind of shocked that we didn't see a damn thing about Prince of Persia, even though Prince of Persia is supposed to be out March of next year.
Yeah, it'll come out the same day as Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Nah, I have more faith in Prince of Persia coming out. At least we saw something for that one.
Yeah. Oh, we saw a glorified PS3 game.
Exactly. That means they have something to work on.
Yeah, but I mean,
we saw the monkey flying through space in Beyond Good and Evil 2. We saw something.
that was video.
That was concept art. That was. We will see
concept art.
That was tech demos.
We will see two more sequels to Watch Dogs before we get Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Honestly, probably.
But yeah, I mean, so basically what Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony has done by saying, hey, we don't actually need E3, the E3 stage as a platform. They, and they started doing their own thing. It's gotten these other companies to start jumping up and doing it and stuff like that. So, what they've done is caused enough of a shift. And also you got to think like E3 wasn't the glorious thing it was back when E3 is 25 years old now? E3 is not the okay. The first few E3 expos were god awful, but then the 2000s came and E3 was the gaming event for over a decade and stuff like that, and then it started to decline, and that's when we saw the announcements from Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony saying, hey, we're not gonna be taking up a lot of time on the stage floor here and stuff like that, and things like that. So could Sony have come back to E3? Yes, they could have. But the one thing I will say is, I commend them for sticking to their guns because they said we're leaving, and they made sure to say that they made sure to stay away.
But the climate changes when it goes from, an in-person event to digital.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sticking to your guns just looks arrogant right now. And you lose the neutral eyes. There's no, aside from the pride, there's no actual reason to just not do anything.
I think that's a little. I think there's a lot of people looking in more than it needs to be. I don't think Sony was like, we're not going to E3 because we're of a pride issue. I don't know if it's that. I really think they just didn't have that much to show. And I could be wrong. In July, we might get a showcase that's huge and twice as many games as Xbox. But then and then I'll be like, okay, you could have showed that at E3, I guess. But I really don't think we're gonna see anything like that. I don't think they have that much to show, and that's honestly
the state of play is going to have to be really good because there are a lot of people that are shifting gears towards Xbox, especially with Game Pass being so good right now.
As a gamer who doesn't really believe in console wars, like I'm glad Xbox is starting to get its comeuppance. It needed it because like its launch was dead on arrival.
Yeah, it was.
And I will say though, I think people gotta manage their expectations with Game Pass though, because people are saying, "Where's PlayStation's Game Pass?" The PlayStation can't afford that. That's they don't. Like I had to explain this to someone. Like, do you realize that Xbox could buy Nintendo and PlayStation if they would sell? Like, they could literally just buy them completely. They have the money. They could buy them 10 times over. They have that much money. Like, they can afford to make a $9 billion deal with Bethesda, which was like 4 times as much as Disney paid for Star Wars. Like, that's insane for Bethesda. So, Sony could try to like make their own PS, let's say they upgrade PS Now. They can't afford the games that Game Pass did. And that's why they don't buy studios like Xbox does, because if they got in a bidding war for all these like third party, like Xbox could outpay them for Square Enix and outpay them for Ubisoft and outpay them for all of these. So PlayStation can't do the Game Pass thing as well as Xbox. So I don't think it's possible for them to.
So shouldn't that encourage then Sony to actually be at these conferences to continue to garner support?
Well, yes, but I think if you're so fixated on your own, if you got your own games and stuff, you don't really need that. I mean, what are they going to do? Like, hey, we don't have as much games as those guys do, and our first party games aren't really ready to show. We could show you Horizon again. We can show you a clip of God. We can show you a teaser trailer for God of War, maybe, but I mean that's all we got.
The state of play though has never always just been about Sony. Like I remember, like for example, Final Fantasy 16 was a state of play reveal. Like it's gonna be Sony exclusive, we know that, but they also, like, all the Call of Duties usually have been announced on a Sony show.
Right.
Which is surprising. We don't know the next Call of Duty yet. So
yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, and that might be something that comes to the Sony state of play. I doubt it, because Activision still likes to do deals with Sony, but they like to announce it on their own merit kind of thing, and they're like EA in that way. But I don't know. Sony's in a weird position where they don't have the pedigree that Nintendo has. Like, Nintendo has a lifelong fan base. Like, it's always funny to me. We're like, Zelda's bigger than Horizon. Well, yeah, it's been around a lot longer than Horizon.
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
Mario will forever be ingrained in people's minds because it's been around forever.
And the other thing with that is too, like, Nintendo is so okay with being everybody's second console, so it's in way more hands than an Xbox or a PlayStation is.
Yeah, they know everyone will have it. It's like, oh, McDonald's is bigger than Five Guys. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, that doesn't mean that the product is better, but they've just been around longer. They're consistent, and they constantly put out new stuff and good stuff. Like, that's what Nintendo has done. And now Xbox is just, swinging it around and be like, hey, we got money now. Bill Gates is funding this again, and Phil Spencer is like one of the most likable dudes in all games, and he's like, yeah, we're bringing you games where you pay $15 a month and you're getting all this cool stuff, and it's awesome. Like, I use Game Pass, but at the same time, like, I don't know if Sony can compete that way, and so they're making deals with Square Enix to get Final Fantasy 16 and this Final Fantasy Origins game. They got all these weird deals going on because that's kind of what they can do. Yeah. They're funding Jade Raymond's studio, and they did Hideo's studio. So I think they just got to play a different type of game. I don't think they can play the same game as Nintendo and Xbox. And I think people expect them to, because Game Pass is a cool idea, but it's not the game that they can play. They just don't have that kind of funds, even though they sold the best.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, it looks like Final Fantasy 7 is going to hit PC before it hits Xbox. They're like it's been spotted on the Epic Game Store, which remember about a month or so ago we reported that Sony had they purchased a small partnership with Epic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts here?
Let's just give it up for Namco
Bandai
Namco and their 15-20 minute for one game.
Oh, that was hilarious because we were on the writers chat and I that presentation had started. I went upstairs to get a water and then I typed into the other writers, hey, we're in the we're in the Discord, and then I popped open the presentation and it was just over. So I just said never mind back to everybody after inviting him to the Discord.
Yeah, it's funny, by the way, we did mention some of the biggest disappointments, but Bandai Namco was for lack of better words, that was a clusterfuck.
They have so many games coming out. It's like, why did they just focus on one? And why that one?
They said right from the get-go that they were like, we have one game we're going to show.
Well, I mean, hey, I appreciate their transparency. I do that, but I mean, Konami was like, hey, we have nothing. So they put out a statement early, like 2 weeks early, like, hey, we don't have anything. So we're not going to be at E3. Capcom should have kind of done that same, taking a page from their book, because Capcom's like, yeah, thanks for all the interest in Resident Evil 8. We're going to start making some DLC for it. And then they already showed it. They showed us a big expose on Monster Hunter Stories 2, which, I mean, no, honestly, they've been doing that for the last 6 months. Like, we're just ready for the game now.
Monster Hunter Stories was all over E3.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then they showed the gameplay stuff for Ace Attorney, which I will say this, me and my roommate, we were watching that and we were like, what's going on here? I'm like, I know I'm going to get this game, but at the same time, I was like, what's happening here?
That's what you're going to find out.
Yeah, and I mean, like Koch Media, they announced early before E3 started that four of their signature franchises, including Saints Row and a couple other titles, they're not going to be there. And when they did that, basically everybody was like, okay, we don't need to watch their presentation. Yeah.
I honestly, outside the big two, it was all the indie showcases and Devolver for me. That was all the cool stuff for me. I loved them. But
the indie showcases were amazing. The PC Gamer show was amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I still don't. I'm into stupid stuff, but I can't get into the PC the PC show narrative story that's going along with the showcase. Just show me the games, please.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our thoughts, our takeaways from E3. So definitely sound off in the chat. Hit us up on Twitter or in our Discord. Let us know what you guys thought about E3. We'd love to hear from you. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So that's our show for tonight. As always, we'd like to give a big thanks to you for tuning in to Crossroads, the PlayStation Podcast. Before we go, here's how you can stay connected to the crew. Pat, you are up first. Give us your plugs, man. Where can we find you at?
Well, I am part of the EXPCast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, all sorts of different podcast channels. Apparently, we're on some very foreign ones that we just found out recently. We also might have a Pornhub account somewhere. We're not sure. But other than that, you can also find us on the Boss Rush Discord, where we really do like to chat it up on our page. So come visit us and say yo and chaos. That's how you know we listen to you.
All right. All right, Dan.
Yeah, that EXPcast channel is always popping off on Discord.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can find all of our articles on www.bossrushgames.com.
All right, awesome.
Find me at Placed Austin on Twitter. You can find everything else in the pinned tweet.
All right, and of course, you can find me on social media at EXODUS803, Exodus803. That's also my Twitch channel. That's also my YouTube channel. That's also my gamer tag. So yeah, there you go. Like, I'm easy to find. Just look up Exodus803. That's how you get me. Here's a reminder to head over to BossRushGames.com and take a look at all of the content Boss Rush has to offer. In the spirit of Pride Month, our good friend Stephanie Klimov, who was on episode 40 of the show, she gave us an introspective on the gaming industry and the attitudes of gamers, and of course, like the men's rights activists were all over it. It's worth a read though. Check it out. Eddie Varnell's review, like Eddie Varnell Pal Block. Eddie from Pal Block. His review for E3 2021 is out now as well on BossRushGames.com. And Nintendo Pal Block, you guys just celebrated your 250th episode, but it was so big you broke it up into 2 episodes.
Yeah, we haven't recorded part 2, so that'll be coming out soon.
Yep. So it's their milestone episode. And hey, when we say it's a standout show from the Boss Rush Games, from the Boss Rush Network, we mean it. Like Pal Block is a powerhouse.
Yep. You watch it, it's just gonna be like pow, just hits you.
Yeah. So please go after you wrap up the show and check out part 1 of the show, as is a celebration, and it features just Corey and Ed for part 1. Don't forget to check out our other shows and editorials available over at BossRushGames.com, where guys like myself, Dan, Stephanie, and a lot of other greats over at Boss Rush Games and Boss Rush Entertainment are giving you all the news and everything that you need about games and the entertainment industry. And if you can't get enough of hanging out with us, come over and check us out at our Discord community, simply called Boss Rush Games. As usual, the link will be provided in our Twitch chat right now. And you know what, guys? I had a lot of fun tonight.
Oh yeah.
Dan came in trying to commit violence here. We held him off though.
Good work, everybody.
All right, guys. Well, that's it from us. The Boss Rush Games family wants you all to have a great night. Go out there, play games, be better. Think about the games you're going to spend all your money on these next few months, because E3 gave us the mother load. And we will see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
See ya.